Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video we will be discussing about histamine. So let's start. Histamine, what does that mean? Histo matlab tissue, so histamine is tissue amine, and they are almost present in the animal tissue. Okay, so they are mostly found in the storage granule of mast cell. So we will the tissues which are very much rich in histamine. These are skin, gastric and intestinal mucosa, lungs, liver, and placenta. There are some places where non mast cell histamine is also present, that is present in brain, epidermis, gastric mucosa, and the non mast cell histamine that is present. It is the turnover is very fast, but the turnover of mast cell histamine is slow. Histamine is also present in blood or most of the body secretions. Okay, now we will be discussing about synthesis, storage, and destruction of histamine. So histamine is being histidine. It is derived from amino acid histidine, so on which decarboxylase act and it converted into histamine. Okay, histamine has been formed. So there are two pathways. One is oxidation, one is methylation. So when N-methyl transferase will act on it, so it will form N-methyl histamine, and on which monoamine oxidase will act and it will form methyl imidazole acetic acid. Okay, so and if we go through the oxidation pathway, so diamine oxidase will act and it will form imidazole acetic acid. Okay, सो केमिस्ट्री के बेसिस पे हिस्टामिन इज बीटा इमेजिडोल इथाइल अमीन and it is degraded by oxidation and methylation we had discussed. And histamine it is inactive orally. अगर हम कितना भी उसको हिस्टामिन दे पेशेंट्स को ओरली, क्योंकि वो इनएक्टिव होता है बिकॉज जो लीवर होता है दैट इज़ डिग्रेडिंग ऑल द हिस्टामिन दैट इज़ बीइंग एब्जॉर्ब्ड फ्रॉम द intestines. Okay, so also in mast cell histamines are positively charged, right? So they are held by an acidic protein and heparin which is negatively charged within it intracellularly granules. When the granules are excreted by exocytosis, तो ये extracellular जो है जगह उधर ये एन के साथ ये एक्सचेंज में रिलीज हो जाएगा, ठीक है, और इंक्रीज इन इंट्रासेलुलर साइक्लिक एएमपी एंड दिस इनहिबिट्स द हिस्टामिन रिलीज. Okay, now we will be discussing about histamine receptors. So four type of histaminergic receptors has now been clearly cloned, and they are classified on the basis of alpha and beta adrenergic receptors, kind of that. So H1 and H2 receptors had been found. Till now there are only two receptors which are clinically relevant. One is H1 and one is H2. A third H3 receptors which serves primarily as an autoreceptor. Okay, controlling histamine release from neuron. So the main action, they are mostly present in neuronal tissue, right? So let us discuss about the receptors in detail. So there are four type of receptor we have discussed: H1, H2 and H3 and H4. And we have also discussed that जो H1 है and H2 है, they are clinically relevant. H3 is not that much good because it is an autoreceptor that is present in the brain. But there is one another type of receptor, that is H4 receptor. So molecular cloning had revealed yet another type of receptor, that is H4 receptor. It was discovered in 2001 and it has considerable likeliness like H3 receptors. Okay, so they bind to many of the H3 ligand. So it was 4-methyl histidine which was considered to be specific H2 agonist. लेकिन अभी it has a selectivity for H4 receptor, so it is now labeled as H4 agonist. Okay, and in this you can see that H4 receptor, these are chemotactic agents as well, and they play very much role in allergic inflammations. Okay, so the H1 receptors, they mediate their action through calcium ion because they are ZQ protein coupled receptors, and they have mainly exert action like smooth muscle contraction, increase in capillary permeability. Okay, and H2 receptors, they mediate by their action by cyclic AMP, by increasing the cyclic AMP because they are G S type of protein receptors, so increases the gastric acid production So we will discuss about that in later videos in detail. And S3 receptors, they decreases the cyclic AMP because they are kind of GI or G, not receptors, protein link receptor. So they decrease the histamine in brain, lungs, skin and mucosa. And H4 receptor, we have discussed that they decreases cyclic AMP and they are chemotactic, and they also cause cytokinin secretion. S3 receptors, which are present in brain, we have discussed, they are presynaptic receptor and they inhibit the histamine release, so they causes sedation. One thing. Second, S3 receptor, they decreases the histamine release from the lungs, spleen, we have discussed lungs, skin, mucosa, etc. And in ileum, inhibitions of acetylcholine release from mesenteric plexus neurons is also because of S3 receptors. And certain blood vessel, in certain blood vessel it inhibits the non-adrenaline release, so they causes vasodilatation. So that's all for this video. Please subscribe to my channel and thank you for watching.